but the sun is magnetic.
We're on the station once in a while.
Oh, man.
The reason we were shooting for grid 8 is because someone graphics indicated that grid 9 was the first iron ferrite. Which means you landed us on a goddamn iron plate.
At NASA, we don't take chances. We double up on everything.
Yeah, I guess that's why you couldn't even zero in a landing within 20 miles of the target. After this contrivance, the characters begin sobbing over their fallen friends. And thus begins huge problem number 2. The characters getting in the way of this film's fun factor. This all started out as an action comedy. Yes, there is a serious situation going on with the asteroid threatening Earth, but that was really just a launching pad to get the oil drillers into NASA to have fun. All that has changed now that they're in space. Obviously, I don't expect these people to giggle and make merry when they're standing on a giant hunk of space rock, but from here on out, the writers do an about-face on the action comedy line, and this turns into a sopping-over melodrama. No one is having fun anymore. No one is even scared or fascinated anymore. The lines that these characters must now deliver seem to all come from Bob's big book of movie cliches.
Just gotta take care of our friends. You and your men are the biggest mistake in the history of NASA. I know it. Because I am. Why are you so excited? I'm like feeling. You can hit that mark. Maybe other feet. I swear to God I will.
And it all plays out just like this. In my Independence Day review, I mentioned that we care about the characters just enough, but not so much that it turns into a melodrama. Well, the opposite is true here. The writers are trying to make us care about these people too much, and that's just impossible. With the exception of Carrie, AJ, and possibly Rockhound, all of the characters are just glorified extras. So it's nothing but an irritant when we're forced to watch someone react to their deaths like this. Shut up and get on with this. We don't care about him. So they get the armadillo out and start trying to drill through the iron ferrite rather than just going 20 miles back and drilling through the correct spot. Everything's going fine, but then the drill head breaks after a mere 10 feet. If there was ever a more fitting analogy for this film, I can't think of one. Welcome to part 3. So AJ, Lev, and Bear are stranded 25 miles away from the other shuttle, which means that while the undamaged shuttle overshot the landing by 25 miles, the shuttle that was crashing and burning out of control managed to land exactly where it was supposed to. They bring the armadillo out and start heading towards the other shuttle. Do you know what you're doing, though?
No. You know what? I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. I don't know what that does, okay?
Then what were you training on it for so long for? Anyway, they end up in a big canyon with no way to cross. So AJ gets the idea to turn off the thrusters and float over it. It works for a little while, but then they hit an object, and suddenly the thrusters won't turn back on, and they start floating into space. God damn, am I getting sick of that. Again, let's go back to Independence Day for a moment. In that film, the characters were encountering obstacles, but the solutions to those obstacles were trial and error. It wasn't one stupid mistake after another. First, the gas station blows up. Then the SF debris takes one of the ships in. Then the other ship overshoots the landing. Then the place they land on happens to be iron ferrite. Then the driller hits a gas pocket and floats away. Then they drill the hole, but there's something wrong with the bomb. Then the ship won't take off before the bomb is detonated. And all the while, this kept on running through my mind.
At NASA, we don't take chances. We double up on everything.
You didn't get one thing right. Now, I know I've blown through a lot of these prematurely, such as the gas pocket and the bomb not working, but I'm not spoiling anything. After this many stupid mistakes, you had to know nothing else was going to work either. So meanwhile, back on Earth, Liv Tyler is still sitting there with a vacuous expression on her face while NASA realizes that the moon's gravity set the asteroid into its spin. This means that the Earth will only have a few minutes left of guaranteed communication and ability to remote detonate the nuke. Now here, I have to reference my Independence Day review once once again. I said in that review that, much to my relief, they did not do what I thought they were going to do with the Secretary of Defense after he got his comeuppance. I feared they may have him try and sabotage the character's efforts in fighting the aliens, making for an unnecessary side problem to the main objective. Well, guess what happens in this movie? And as the oil drillers are all doing their job, someone tries to sabotage their efforts, making for an unnecessary side problem to the main objective. Okay, they know this isn't going to work. We have already established this. Everyone has already concluded that detonating the nuke on the surface will do nothing. I can understand the President's concern that the drilling isn't going fast enough, but there is a reason they didn't just launch the nukes from the ground, and the President knows that. And to make this scene worse, Harry eventually convinces Sharp to disconnect the bomb, and the writers pull yet another page from Bob's big book of movie cliches as he frets about which wire to cut. This scene and the situation is right up there with the board on the dish scene in Star Trek First Contact. It has no purpose other than to extend the length of the film. It amounts to nothing, and we didn't need to watch it. This is just one more example of how, when they all got into space, the film stopped trying to entertain and engage us, and is now just stalling for time. So now that the hurdle has been jumped over, they can get back to drilling. But, of course, there's another random problem. Although this time it seems to be a problem with Rockhound.
Whoa, very cool. I can take out this asteroid, turn on anyway. Okay, boys, get the rest, I'll take it from here.
Space Dimension, brought to you by Rockhound is then tied in gas because that's what you want your most entertaining character at this point to be in the film. As I said earlier, the Armadillo gets blown out into space, which doesn't make much sense to me unless the explosion happened to damage the thrusters that create its magic gravity. And then, despair. All hope is lost until the Three Stooges drive up with the other Armadillo. Yeah, it is, Ben. It's amazing you figured that out. God, he can't act. Anyway, they get back to drilling and manage to drill 800 feet in an hour, which means that if the other Armadillo had just gone back to the original landing site and drilled there, it would have been like cake getting to 800 feet, and they wouldn't have lost their friend. But who needs thought when a contrived screenplay does all the thinking for you? So now they're ready to drop the nuke, but then the asteroid starts acting up. For some unknown reason, the environment starts sparking and causing explosions. In space. Harry remarks that the asteroid seems mad, and Chip replies that that's because it knows they're here to kill it. And after everything that happened in this film thus far, I actually questioned whether he was even joking about that. So, what do you know? Now something's wrong with the trigger on the bomb, which means one person has to stay behind and blow it out manually. Next, they're going to have two characters struck by lightning and one abducted by aliens just to extend this mess. So the choice is this. They all draw straws to see who stays, or they can all stay and die.
I say we all stay and die. That's me.
I second that, Rockhound. I second that. AJ draws the small straw, but Harry takes his place when they take the elevator down. As if this wasn't gut-wrenchingly melodramatic enough at this point, we have to watch AJ respond to Harry's sacrifice like this. Shut up and push the damn button. Yeah, that's right. It's been